what is your guilty pleasure beer? So a beer that you might be embarrassed to tell a craft beer podcast and you enjoy on occasion, but you can because we're all there. Mine's Corona.
Probably Carlton Draft. Like if you're in a pub that sells enough of it, they look after their lines, it's fresh. And I've drunk
cold and stuff.
Yeah, you just lie down and
that's not optimal, but sometimes you don't.
It's going to get the job done, right?
Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is Big C, certified brewhead, and welcome to Beer and Other Shh, the podcast, episode 29. That's crazy. We are here at the Public Brewery in Croydon, Melbourne, Victoria. This is our last day in Australia. We're about to go home in a few hours, so why not squeeze in another podcast? I'm about to sit down with Brendan, who is known as Brendo in true Australian fashion. Who's the head brewer / brewmaster here at the Public Brewery. We actually came here a couple of weeks ago. It's fantastic, such a dope place. Tonight is the launch of a brand new beer here at the Public Brewery, so we coincided the podcast with that, so I'm really looking forward to trying it. Everything I've had from here has been fantastic. So, yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. Let's do it.
So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C, certified brewhead, and welcome to episode 29 of Beer and Other Shh, the podcast. And today we are coming live from the Public Brewery in lovely Croydon, Victoria, Australia. And I have the man responsible for the beers here, Brendo. I don't know your full name, I just know Brendo.
Brendo's good, Brendan Guild, but everyone calls me Brendo.
Nice to meet you, brother. Thanks for having us today, man.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you here.
Appreciate it. Love this place. We were here a couple of weeks ago, as we were saying beforehand. Super amped for the kids out there. My parents owned a toy shop called Toy World growing up, just around the corner.
Still there.
Yeah, still there, which tripped me out. We drove past it the other day. And the funny part for me is that this is like, I don't know, how far from the city? 30 Ks?
Yeah, about 30 Ks.
About 30 Ks from the city, so it's the suburbs. I did
out of east.
Out of east. All right, cool. So not southeast, we're in the east, right? So there wasn't anything like this growing up. I mean, not that I knew anything about craft beer back then, but there just wasn't anything around. So I guess my first question is, why Croydon? How did this place, with this quality bottle list and the quality beers being pumped out in the venue, like how did this end up here?
I think it's probably like what you're saying, it's just prime for it. So one, I guess it's a combination of things. So, totally, we're right on the edge of the Yarra Valley.
Right.
So, known for its wine, but there's a number of breweries and that sort of thing through it. And really, if you want a decent beer and you're living in Croydon, before we came along, you're either heading out into the valley, which means some poor bugger's got to drive, because the public transport isn't too good out there.
Not too good in College Street.
Or you got to head back into town, and in the suburbs. And it's really sort of a big gulf in between. Right. So that's one thing. It's sort of pretty prime for that.
Cool.
And then the other one is that the Dale White, who's the owner, who's set it up. Yeah, okay. He's a Croydon boy.
Right.
So he lives just down the road. He's got another business just up the road in there, and it just sort of fell into place and made a lot of sense. And it's for all those reasons that you're saying. There just wasn't really any option if you want something that's different to Carlton Draft.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what the other local establishments have on board.
Pretty much.
You don't have a lot of choice.
Yeah.
It's and we've had an awesome response from the community.
Amazing. That wasn't going to ask. Like, we came, like I said, 2 Fridays ago. Place was rammed. We got here at like 6:30 or something. Rammed. It was. I was like, damn, I just didn't know what to expect. My friend knew about it. Everyone was excited to show me the Aussie, the beer scene, right? So on the day we were about to come, I was like, Croydon, really? I didn't really think about it. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's go. I got some beer street there. Let's take a look. And man, I was just blown away. Like the quality of the place. It's like, I don't know. The decor is super cool, and I found that there was a super wide range. Older folks, 60 plus. There was the after work crowd on a Friday at 6:30. It was jammed. It was rammed all the way. All the seats were taken.
And it's been like that from day one. So it's always about being a wide demographic there. Right. So it's not just your hipsters coming in or your oldies. The demographic is just off the chart. And it's just you come in, and it's different days. Like you come in Saturday. You come in on Saturday at lunchtime. There's going to be families there with little ones running around and stuff like that. it just shifts. And I think, that was always sort of the vision for Darwin, the place too, was it's about community, just people coming in. It's not just about people who want craft beer or that, because we have a lot of novices from just the fact that there wasn't much on offer around and all that sort of thing. So, for a lot of people walking the door, it's that first experience for them and that sort of thing, which is really cool and exciting for us as the brewers. We get to introduce them to that world, which is great. But yeah, it's always been that really sort of big mix through there, and it's not just the locals. Like it's like your friends are just excited to bring you down and have a look and those sort of things, which is great. And in that venue there's a lot of sort of communal seating, so generally sort of getting like a private spot for yourself and that. But you're going to have to lob onto a long table with all sorts of people there, and that, and everyone kind of interacts and it behaves themselves. It has a certain sort of
no attitude, no drama.
Well, it self-polices, right?
Yeah.
Like, this thing, like, you've got a bunch of kids that are getting a little bit full of themselves, and you've got some oldies that are sitting there around, and that, you're going to behave a little bit differently, and, tones down the swearing if you've got the family sitting over there, because it's not a good look for a 5-year-old and all those sort of things. So everyone kind of gets along.
That's cool.
Which is great.
That's very cool, man. I'm so impressed. It's just that's why I want to start with that, because I'm just blown away by it, and I really hope that. It's really good to hear that it is bringing that community together, because clearly there's a need for it. And people want. On top of that, the kitchen was incredible. Brad, my brother, was saying that I swear to God, for the last 2 weeks he hasn't shut up about the fish and chips.
Awesome. The kitchen's not good for the waistline.
No.
Like it's an occupational hazard when you're working between the food and the
beer's a problem already.
Beer, but it's good stuff. Yeah, it's all about going with the beer. It's stuff that's got to work. But it's what it's all about. It's the focus.
Fantastic, man. So congrats on that.
Thanks.
So you know what? Let's talk about what we're drinking. And then I want to get into your story and see how you go. So today actually luckily coincides with the release of a brand new beer.
Yeah,
which we're drinking right now. So let's talk about it.
It's a relaunch. So we actually brewed it last year. It's our Smoke on the Porter.
Love the name, by the way.
Yeah, it's a cool name. It's a nice little deep purple reference there. You've got to get a little bit rock and roll with these things sometimes. So sometimes puns. I'm a dad, so sometimes puns lead themselves quite naturally around these things.
The dad jokes.
Porter, English style of beer, really malt focused. Quite dark like a stout, but I guess sort of the difference there is your stouts tend to be a lot roastier, whereas the porter's a bit more restrained. It's a smoked porter, so some of the grain, 20% of it is smoked malt. Okay. So we use Gladfield malt, which is New Zealand malt, so they're really focused on craft flavours, I guess, if you like. So they've got a really sort of wide range there, and it's about as local as we can get currently in the malt world here in Australia. Our big malts is really aimed at looking after the big boys, and not necessarily the flavours we're after. So something that Gladfield do a little bit differently with their smoked malts, they use Manuka wood to smoke it. So Manuka, we get the Manuka honey from, which New Zealand's really well known for. So what we tend to find is it's not as intense as your traditional smoked malts. So if you think about your German smoked malts where you're using beech wood. When you have a German smoked beer, it's all about sort of that hammy, bacon, small good character going on. Whereas the Manuka is a bit more subtle around that. So we get a little bit of small good character in there, but it's not huge. And 20% of that grain bill is smoked malt, which is reasonably significant.
Not so much on the nose either.
No, and it's pretty cold at the moment. As it warms up, it's going to open up and that sort of thing from there. But the thing I like about the Manuka smoke is you always get like a honeyed sweetness off it as well. It's just really smooth. It's just something that's nice and different. And I think where porters and stouts, they sort of blend over each other so quickly and that sort of thing. So, if you're going to do one, sometimes it's nice to have something that differentiates a little bit. Smoked porter as opposed to just a straight up and down porter. Sometimes when I drink a straight up and down porter, it's like, well, it could just be a stout. It's just a naming thing. It's just, so,
that's great.
It sort of stands out. So we brewed it last year, sort of around about this time. So it's a nice sort of wintry kind of beer.
Seasonal.
Yeah.
It's a new batch.
Yeah,
fresh
it's
batch, of course.
just been kicked off last week.
Fantastic.
So it's pretty
Way, I guess, seasonally, of course, but is that the reason you brought it back again? It's going to be like a regular season?
Yeah, and I really enjoyed drinking it last year. So,
So you know what I was doing again.
That's
awesome.
that's the joy of being the brewer. You
Of
can,
course.
the head brewer, you can work out those schedules and sneak those
Sneak 'em in.
those beers in that you
That's
really
amazing.
want to drink.
That's fantastic. So that's a good segue. So you are the head brewer here.
Yes.
Tell us, how did you get into the beer world?